the one player, Mick, you would love to see the Eagles draft? Doesn't need to be a 10, doesn't need to be a 30, doesn't need to be a 62, doesn't need to be a 90. Uh, doesn't have to be a Notre Dame player. Have you got one guy who every time you look at the draft, Mick, you're thinking, I really fancy drafting this guy. Really would like to see him in the Eagles. You're on mute, by the way, before you do speak.
Thank you for the mute comment.
That's all right.
CJ Stroud?
Hey, I already cracked that joke with Bijan at 1, right? You can't.
Weren't expecting that, were you? I would love Brian Brisset. I've loved him for a long time. I like his story. I think he's the sort of player that the Eagles would like as well. I think he's got good character. You're talking about the character of Jalen Carter being questionable. I think the character of Brian Brisset is the complete opposite of Jalen Carter, and what he has gone through the last season, losing his sister and various injuries as well at Clemson. He was a 5-star athlete coming out of high school, one of the top prospects. I think he was like on Rivals. He might have been the top 3 coming out of high school that year.
You're right. Yeah, I think you're right, Mick.
He's a special talent. He's got a lot in him. He's got a big heart, and again, interior defense. You can't beat that. So I would absolutely love to draft Brian Brisset, and I called it back in December, so I'd like that receipt. I'd like to cash that one in.
Called it back in December?
Yes.
I like that a lot. I know you've mentioned both of them, him and Miles Murphy from Clemson. Touched on it earlier on in the podcast. I like that. I don't know as much about him as you clearly do, Mick. You watch far more college football than I do, but I'm a sucker for character, and you want to blend character with high ceiling and 5-star recruit coming out of high school and having to deal with a lot of issues and still being a top 25 consensus pick on everyone's draft boards. I'll eat that up all day. Yes, please. Tony, you got one guy in the draft you'd love to see the Eagles sign. Could be at any position. You're looking down. Are you going to give us a Florida player here, or what's going on?
No. I'm thinking. I mean,
I'm putting you guys on the spot. Yeah, that's what I like doing on these podcasts.
I like that.
I really want to load up on offense, and I really want Deshaun. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all in. You have him with Hurts, with Devontae, with AJ on the outside. Are you kidding me? With Goddard? Good luck. God bless.
It's crazy.
And then you have, if Penny is healthy at all, if he's the second back, you could put them both on the field at the same time, mix it up in certain formations and packages.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know which way to go. Every person's a threat. So
that would be exciting.
You all in on that, Phil, as well? As if they could have one guy.
It's not going to happen, but
it'll be cool though, right?
I think Tony's made the summarize the point that's just floating around the Eagles Twitter and everything right now is, if they did, people would rationalize it. If he picked him at 10, people would be like, this is going to be amazing, but oh my God, what are we going to do with everything else? And I think if Howie somehow completely blew out of the park, went, yep, Bijan, no question, done it. I have faith that he would make the rest of the draft fit to damage limitation that pick as much as possible. So, okay, everyone who's crying out, going, what are we going to do about defensive and offensive lines? He'd find a way to make it work. Free agents, later round picks. I feel like he'd do it. It wouldn't be as good in anywhere near as form or as solid as the mock drafts that we've done, being more sensible. But we all have faith, and you can't say that you don't, that if Howie picked Bijan at 10, we'd all be losing our minds. And then when we get to the end of the draft, we'd be all going, okay, let's see how this plays out. Because, if we've got Bijan, we've got Bijan. But he's managed to sort of, get those later round guys, pick up a few free agents, and I feel like he'd make it work. So I think, you can't look past that. If you want to, it's the best player on offense in the draft for me, in terms of, that excitement, that look how we were as soon as AJ Brown got traded for pick 17, I think it was. We just lost our minds. We were like, draft's done, doesn't matter. We've got AJ Brown. So I think when you get to players like that, it has that kind of impact where you're like, well, this is going to do a lot for us. As long as we draft sensibly, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's I've just been having a look at the board of who my player would be that I would absolutely love to see on the Eagles next year, and Nolan Smith is up there for me. I mean, geez, edge rusher who can run 4.39.
Just keep the pipeline going from Athens.
What's that? Say that again.
Yeah, just keep the pipeline going between Nakobe and JD and Nolan.
Be great. Not? And he's great at rush defense as well. He's great on rush defense, which could, stop some of the interior problems if we didn't pick up a high-level interior defensive lineman. He's a bit undersized, right? He's 238, 240, but he's absolutely rapid. And I feel like even if he doesn't always line up on the edge, he could line up a linebacker.
Yeah.
You could maybe line up on... You could definitely line up a linebacker and on the edge. And him and Reddick can swap around a little bit in his first season. And I think his talent is sky high. His ceiling is sky high. Puts on a little bit more weight when he gets to the NFL. I think he could be special for the Eagles, and I think he's exactly the kind of player they want to build around. Personally, I want to see Paris Johnson Jr. He's my guy. I want to see Paris Johnson Jr. in an Eagles uniform. I loved what I saw at the Combine. I liked what I saw with Stoutland coaching him at the Combine. Anytime he asked him to do anything, he just hit it nail on the head right away, and he was like, "Well done, Paris, go away." Whereas he was telling every other guy to come back. What are you doing? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And if Stoutland's saying that to a guy, he's got the right size, right athleticism. We love building it in the interior. He could probably play it right guard if he needs to for the first year, and then move to right tackle once Lane has gone. Jurgens can then replace Kelsey in the center after this year. Jurgens and Paris could maybe switch around in that position at right guard for the first year. I just think he makes perfect fit for Howie at 10, and I don't see him going further than top 12 in the team. And I know we don't necessarily need it right now, but best player on the board, I love him so much. I could see him going. I really like Paris Johnson Jr. Can you tell?
No, but I can. But all I kept thinking about is when we talk about how the outside the box for Liam is always usually just not quite outside the box enough. And when you get your player
still
of the
lost,
draft,
didn't I?
the exciting, well, yeah, but the exciting player of the draft, the one that you can pick, barring all.
I don't care about that.
You still went for a safe, reasonably sensible player.
You're the fence here. The Eagles have been elite. The Eagles have been elite at getting to the playoffs.
Why not go wide receiver at that page?
We don't need it, Phil. We don't need it. We don't need a wide receiver, right? The Eagles have been successful at building the best offensive line in the league for the last 4 or 5 years. We've missed 1 year where we've not been in the playoffs. And the one constant, regardless of quarterback, regardless of wide receiver, regardless of running back, has been an elite offensive line. And that has been the case every single year. And I believe in that as the foundation for a good team. Now we've got Jalen. It's amazing. Yes, Lane's locked in for a few years. He's young. He's the right size. He's the right fit. I think he's the best player for the Eagles, personally.
I'm only messing with you. I do love Paris Johnson as well. I was expecting you to go for Bijan. Go on, everyone.
I'd love Bijan, but I don't want to. I've spent years supporting Newcastle United, and we've had times where we played exciting, attractive football, and that's been great. But I'm starved of championships. I'm starved of trophies, and I tasted it. I tasted it in 2017, 2018 when we lifted the Super Bowl, and we're in a win. We're in win now. In the next 2-3 years, next 5 years could be a dynasty. I don't think Bijan Robinson makes us a Super Bowl champion. I don't think he makes us perennial playoff contenders. I think Paris Johnson continues to help us do that. And I want to see us be successful for a long time, not a short time.
Yeah, Bijan.